So hello and welcome to the eFinancial Careers panel session with Thakral One, a leading Asia-based technology consultancy. We're going to focus today on how Thakral One is furthering technology innovation through creating a culture of equality. And we're going to give you insights into what it's like working for a technology consultancy. I'm Simon Mortlock, Content Manager at eFinancialCareers, and I'll be hosting today's discussion. Now, I'm delighted to welcome our 4 Thakral One employees joining the panel today. Carol, Millet, Anjali, and Jeremy, could you please introduce yourself in that order, and also tell us about how your colleagues would describe you at work? Over to you, Carol.
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Carol, the Senior HR Manager for Thakral One. I have been largely a HR BP for over 10 years and is still very passionate about being one. One word how the colleagues will describe me at work, I think, is driven, and it's this drive that brings me effectiveness, which creates efficiency.
Hi there, my name is Millet Egasani. I'm currently the SVP and Country Head of Thakral One in the Philippines. I've been with the company for 5 years and in the technology industry for 25 years. I think my colleagues would describe me as a futurist, someone who'd always be on the lookout for relevant leading or emerging solutions for the markets. I think my team members would describe me as cool-headed, being quite calm and patient while also empowering them to try and learn new things.
Hi, everyone. My name is Anjali, and I'm the Head of Talent Acquisition at Thakral One. I've been in this field for more than 20 years, sourcing top skills while building and nurturing relationships with candidates and business partners. How colleagues would describe me at work, I think they would say I'm amicable and patient. I think these 2 traits are really necessary when you're trying to build trust-driven relationships.
Hi, my name is Jeremy Hebblethwaite. I'm the CTO. I've been with Thakral One for over 5 years. Prior to that, I was over 15 years heads of architecture for the region in different international banks. I hope that my colleagues think that I'm innovative.
Thank you very much, everyone, for those introductions. Appreciate that. Okay, well, let's move on to some questions then. So, Jeremy, please tell us in general terms what a tech consultant does at Thakral One and how the job of a consultant differs from working in-house in technology.
Thank you, Simon. I think the fundamental role of a technology consultant, or almost any consultant going into a client, is to add greater value than they would be able to get from their internal staff. That's because obviously they're brought in because they might need some additional resources and they won't be able to, they need to temporarily do that for a project, or because there is something that they need to change and achieve, which they don't have the skills or the bandwidth to be able to do themselves. And that's where the kind of difference comes between what a consultant is and what an internal member of staff is. Internal members of staff tend to have a real focus on a particular way of doing business, of what they need to do to keep their systems running up to date and being innovative. But they don't have the time to have the variety that comes across of looking at many different projects from different sectors of the same industry. So therefore, consultants have the ability to look at similar kind of solutions, but in many different clients, which brings innovation along with them by growing that kind of skill set across there. Consultants have a great variety of projects that they do, which isn't necessarily focused on just the same vertical that they're doing, because they might be looking at a banking project today. It could be healthcare tomorrow if it's a particular technical skill that they have underneath that covers that. That brings a cross match of kind of skill sets and knowledge that they bring in, and you then bring in some ideas from one industry potentially into another. Another difference that a consultant would have is they probably have a lot more movement. They can go and travel to different countries, different parts of the same country if it's a large country, and get a little bit more variety of cultures and tribes across that kind of space that they have. Within the firms, then you'll find that consulting firms, especially ones like Thakral One, they're a lot more nimble and they have a lot more closely knit teams that can then do various things together in a faster and more agile manner. We probably, for our own proof of concepts and things like that, have slightly less restrictions on what we can do and can't do, which brings different ideas in, because naturally banks, for example, will have a lot of control on what they're doing. So once we have that innovation come in, then we can work with a bank to see how that would fit into their particular structures that are there. Both sides will do a lot of learning, but the kind of learning that a consultant will do will probably be a lot broader and maybe not quite as deep, but using their experience to be able to cover that wider knowledge across in with the in-house vertical experts that will be there to be able to have a great winning team when we're delivering a project for a client.
That's a great answer. Thank you very much, Jeremy, for that. So, Carol, could you tell us what diversity and inclusion mean to Thakral One, please?
Well, we, including our parents group, have always prioritized talent, skills, and culture. Equality is really not something we track as a KPI, as there's no discriminations against gender, race, etc. We feel that we should do our best to hire the best talents for the role. To us, it's really about assessing more talent and more diverse voices, so there is better decisions making. And we hire the best talents for the role and reward individually based on the merits. As a major conglomerate in HQ in Singapore with a history of over 100 years in Asia, our organization grew organically. Our organization is definitely an equal opportunity organization. And the reason why I'm saying so is because 60% of our senior management is female, and it's never by design. So diversity is really not only very much appreciated, but also encouraged. Diverse voices will only help our company to grow stronger and improve on the quality of our decisions making.
Thank you, Carol. My next question is, how are Thakral One's internal processes, such as your organizational structure, compensation, onboarding, hiring, and how are these aligned to the goal of equality and diversity? Jeremy and then Millet, could you answer this one, please? Over to you, Jeremy.
Okay, so I'm looking after the technology side of things, so I'll probably shift more to the latter part of that question. We work closely with our partners to be able to do various different knowledge and skill transference, as well as providing different solutions. So within there, we partner with a company called Red Compass, and they have a prevention of human trafficking capability within kind of the skills that they do. We do a lot of education and boot camps for analytics in the Philippines, and we have our own internal R&D process we do around automation and things. All of these are using a diverse range of people and skills from across that. And as Carol said, we don't focus on a particular gender selection. It's all about who is the best person for the job to be able to do that. But it's very important to have diversity, because if we're all the same, we all think the same, and therefore we don't come up with something new.
Adding to what Jeremy said, since I'm mostly client-facing doing consultative selling, we try to service everyone. We need to be representative of our clients. Understanding the psyche is very important to us because that determines each one's motivation. So we help organizations who are also passionate about making their customers have a better life and experience with them. Enabling financial inclusion through what we do for banks, financial institutions, and telcos gives us a sense of purpose. We help them provide easier access for the unbanked, the underserved, and the small and medium enterprises. So within our organization, it is important to lead from the top and set the right example. With diverse leadership, diverse team compositions, we are able to get rich ideas and perspectives that allow us to sustain a culture where everyone feels at home and has a voice. So this is very important for us because it enables innovation to flow internally and externally to our clients. Our internal systems are not designed to filter out people based on biases or gender nor race. We take a lot of time and energy to instill this in our teams. We always remind them to always be kind, be respectful, and they see it right in front of them.
Thank you very much both for those great responses. And what do you think will shape the future of technology, and what technology excites you the most? Jeremy, let's start with you for this one and then move on to Millet, please.
Sure, Simon. We're in the data age now, and obviously artificial intelligence, machine learning, cloud, that's the latest, hottest thing that's coming along. We need to embrace that in terms of the innovations, and that brings in changes to the way all organizations operate, and businesses are going to consider the way they use data. This includes working alongside disruptors like fintechs, because they've made a huge indent into the financial services market and started to make banks think in a totally different way. That's fantastic, because I came from that industry where, yeah, using data was a little bit slow, and you would think it should be the other way around. But now they're starting to leverage that and use combined strengths between the ideas that are coming from people that were free to think, and then using all of the new technology that the cloud space is providing, and to come up with great new innovative solutions, and providing a different kind of excitement in the technology world for people who have been probably a little bit old-fashioned in some of their styles of working.
Just to add to what Jeremy said, remember, I've been in this industry for 25 years. I started as a software developer using mainframe. So I've always been fascinated by technology, and look at where we are now. Things like 3D printing and how it's so groundbreaking in healthcare, architecture, and engineering. We have image and video analytics and their applications for security, weather forecasting, and even in the arts, right? So there are emerging technologies that are already disrupting society. Metaverse, blockchains, NFTs. So innovative companies are trying this out, and different use cases are coming up on how this would also influence individual lives for the better. But of course, these technologies can also be abused and misused. So the ethics for technology applications, as well as its impact to the environment, should always be considered. Yes, companies will always want to earn more, have enough profits, but I still believe we, the people fortunate enough to be part of the technology industry, are in a good position to also ensure appropriate application of these new technologies, both in terms of reducing how people fear them and making them appropriate technology for the good that they do. This is the most exciting part of me. Striking a balance on promoting good and doing good with technology, and also allowing our own teams experience fulfillment in helping clients embrace them.
Great. Thank you very much for sharing those insights into our emerging technologies. So over to you, Anjali. What kind of job opportunities do you see emerging across the market in tech? And what kind of roles and skill sets is Thakral One hiring for at the moment?
Thanks, Simon. We've heard from Millet and Jeremy how the landscape has evolved so rapidly. It's brought with it immense dynamism in tech careers. And roles in technology nowadays require not just the technical or engineering skills, but they also require creativity, communication, and problem-solving skills using digital tools. Skill sets are no longer strictly defined these days. And in addition to the primary skill, technology skill or capability that each person has, each person is also expected to be well-versed with a host of other digital tools and technologies. Many of these would have been nice to have a few years ago, but nowadays our clients expect these as must-haves. So that's how it's changed tremendously. And we in Thakral One right now, we have a number of opportunities around technology in analytics, AI, development, and technology solutions. We're also on the lookout for expertise in transformation, strategy, and advisory, and highly sought after skills or knowledge and experience in DevOps, Data Ops, SRE, and customer experience. That's what the market is right now.
That's interesting. Thanks very much for that, Anjali, for sharing those insights into our jobs and skill sets at the moment. So let's move on now to some more quick answer questions, please. And the first one is, what makes diversity so important to achieving success in business and in technology? Let's start with Jeremy and Millet, and then over to Anjali and Carol.
I think diversity is vitally important for innovation. We all have to think in slightly different ways and contribute in a different way to come up with something new. And all being the same, as I said earlier, is not going to solve that problem.
Well, diversity is very important. It leads to business growth. It allows for inclusion of our customers. And of course, it promotes creativity.
And in recruitment, we've seen that a diverse talent pool is increasingly in demand and appreciated, especially in project teams that have diverse backgrounds. Clients and customers appreciate that more.
Well, for HR point of view, it's for a better organizational culture.
Excellent. Thanks very much, everyone, for those answers. So, Millet, as a female leader, what's your dream for the working environment of the future?
Oh, thank you for that question, Simon. Well, my dream is that one day we will all just be leaders irrespective of the race, gender, orientation, religion, and disability. We are celebrating International Women's Month, and breaking the bias, especially during this pandemic, is doubly hard. Imagine the effect on women in their careers. If a family has young children also doing online school, it seems like women have to pretend that we can have it all. A clean house, a nutritious meal ready for our family, and by the end of your workday, still be smiling and ready to teach the kids with their homework too. This is survival at its finest. So, my dream is to really allow women to thrive in their careers and have a great support system. And be open to this support system. Take your partner's offer to clean up, take care of the kids, and even cook a meal, even if you don't have a pressing deadline at work. Take the extra free time to have a workout or read a book. Agree with your boss when they say take the day off to attend to your sick child or parent. These behaviors we try to foster in Thakral One.
Thanks, Millet, for that inspiring answer. And Jeremy, what's your dream as a male leader, please?
I'm not sure it's because I'm a male leader, but the challenge I see is any kind of bias is driven by what we are taught. So I hope that my children who'll be leaving school in the next few years, when they get into the world, there's less of it being taught, and that what they have been brought up with in their lifetimes, which is really less kind of bias when you're in those kind of environments, they can bring that with them, and we can start to make sure that the next generation, each generation behind, see this as a historical thing rather than a present thing.
Thanks, Jeremy. And Anjali, how does Thakral One attract top talent, please?
We keep our candidates excited. That includes, on solving complex problems, on applying innovation, and going beyond what has been tried and tested. And we also expose the talent we have to cross-functional and multicultural situations. And that helps us attract the top talent.
Thanks, that's a great answer. And Carol, how do you retain top talent?
Wow, that's really a very good question, Simon. So being a privately owned family business, we are much better positioned to nurture and invest in our people. So we instill in our people the value of collaborations, entrepreneurship, and creative problem solving. Also, we are small enough to still be a family.
Thanks for that very informative answer, Carol, and thanks also to Anjali and Jeremy and Millet for your really helpful contributions throughout the session as well. I think in a short time, you've gone through several topics that would have really resonated with our audience, including explaining the job of a technology consultant and also highlighting the importance of diversity to Thakral One's business. Thanks also to our audience for watching. We hope you found it to be an informative and very helpful discussion. So goodbye from Thakral One and eFinancial Careers, and enjoy the rest of your day.